We played 3 hours of never-before-seen gameplay of Final Fantasy Remake. Square Enix was gracious enough to invite the Washington Post over to their offices to give us a hands-on look at a remake of the game that came out in 1997.
Heads up. What in the hell?
There are a few things we can talk about, including what we saw in the menu system, specific story elements. We might have some spoilers, but we're really gonna avoid all story spoilers in this video. Role-playing games in general have 3 pillars to what makes a really great role-playing game. Action,
Enough.
the exploration,
Ongoing fire.
and story.
So far, so good.
Right. Let's move.
Let's talk about the action first. We play the entire first mission of the game, which is the iconic bombing mission.
Should be easy.
If you recall, the bombing mission and the wind down, that was about 30 to 40 minutes of gameplay in the original Final Fantasy VII. In the Final Fantasy VII Remake, it took me about 2 hours to complete that whole thing. The materia system is still very much intact. There's still a little orb you can connect to each weapon, and that will imbue your character with special abilities.
Burn. There goes another.
The combat system is a mixture of what you would find in the Kingdom Hearts series, very action-oriented, but it brings a lot of what it did in Final Fantasy XIII and Final Fantasy XV. There's a system of staggering an enemy where it was a lot of meter juggling, and that gives it an opening to land larger, more damaging hits. You have to keep hitting the enemy to increase your limit break bar so you can do more special moves that will do bigger damage. So the regular combat system is basically there to build up these meters so you can do more damage. Precision movements actually seem to be important. When Cloud dodged, the bullets kind of sail right past it. There seems to be a real sense of hit detection here that you really have to be paying attention to. You can control the actions of each member of your party. The camera will focus on Cloud, and if you hit L2 or R2, it'll switch over to the menu system for another character. You can always control what the party is doing elsewhere. There are enemies in this game where distance is an actual factor. So Barrett's iconic hand cannon, you'll actually need it to hit like security drones that are flying up there that Cloud can't reach. The combat system was a little difficult to adjust to initially, mostly because of how busy it is. I think people who play MMOs and who have played Final Fantasy 15 will adjust to this pretty easily if you're able to trust in your decisions and not need the visual feedback. This game demands your attention. You have to stay engaged. This isn't a game that you can just kind of autopilot.
I got this.
Story was actually the most interesting thing.
Kinda scary, huh?
It's all in the mind.
Final Fantasy VII was always very elegant in how it built its world. From the zoom out from Aerith to the entire city of Midgar, to the minimization of throwing these sci-fi pronouns at you that you're expected to understand, they resist that temptation for the remake.
Cloud, up here! Look up! I said look up!
The grander themes of Final Fantasy VII are early in play in the beginning of the game. So much of the classic scenes that we've already seen in the trailers are expanded upon. For example, the infamous honeybee scene.
Welcome to the Honeybee Inn, Cloud.
We are getting entirely new cutscenes from that, and it looks like new gameplay from that. The small character moments in the original game are now expanded into full-on character storylines. Jessie, now she has her own personality. Now she has a background. Now she has doubts and questions about the main character. There are literally new wrinkles into Cloud's character, physically and spiritually. In this game, he is still chilly and standoffish, but there's a lot more ambivalence to him. He's very unsure about what he's doing. He's not quite a confident character, and you can see it in his face. Tifa is actually the best sounding character. It's very exciting to see that the English voice acting seems to be of unusually high quality.
Score. It's just like Cloud said.
We are looking at possibly 100 gigs of gameplay, so it just makes me wonder exactly how much story there is. The biggest worries that I have is exploration. Square Enix is still insisting that we are essentially ending this release at the end of when the party leaves Midgar. In the original Final Fantasy game, all the exploration took place outside Midgar. It was the overworld. It was a grand moment when you realize that you really have so much more of the game left to play. There wasn't much interaction. There were no towns or shops or anything like that, but there were people to talk to, and they were branching paths with treasures behind them. Again, we're still stuck in Midgar for this game, so it really depends on how much of the city we're going to be able to play.
Delta level security lockdown is currently in effect.
After playing 3 hours of Final Fantasy VII Remake, it seems like it's in good hands. The new things that they added was very, very exciting. It was not jarring at all, but some of my biggest questions have yet to be answered. What will transfer over to the next installment of Final Fantasy VII? How much exploration will there be? All of that is very exciting, and so this is a very exciting time to be in right now.